Hello, everybody. Welcome to this weekend's transmission. Today, we are going to be integrating some star energies as we are receiving a visit from our star family. I would turn the video around to show you guys, but they're sitting right there. So, we're going to be talking about our star consciousness and how these light energies are coming in very drastically and intensely over this lion's gate. And we're going to work with the somatic body today to give the body kind of a boost and make it a little easier for us to integrate these energies. So it is going to be more of an energetic experience today. I'm not going to be talking a lot about stuff. So just get comfortable. You can lie down or sit, whatever position that is going to allow you to be the most relaxed, to allow these energies to come in. And so the theory of Lion's Gate is that it is time when the pyramids in Egypt are aligning up with the Sirius star system, which is where our Earth's twin civilizations exist. And it is a place where humanity or a similar parallel beings of humanity have already ascended. And so there is a stargate that um, directly moves energy into the Earth and our galaxy or our star system at this time. It is a star portal that I came in. As when I was born, the Earth, the Sun, and the Sirius star system was in direct alignment. And so there is this kind of ascended and brilliant light consciousness energies that stream from that star system here, assisting the evolution of humanity. It is where Tara, the being who seeded the traditional Tibetan Buddhism, came from. And so we can, through these amplified energies, connect more easily with the pure stream of these schools of star consciousness. And of course, for the majority of us listening who are star seeds, who are beings who come from these higher realms and these ascended civilizations, it is a really good time for us to phone home, to connect with these higher aspects of ourself, and of course, our family members that are holding space and sending us packets of information and energy from up there. So, taking some long, deep breaths into our body. Just come into a place of relaxation as we connect with the little stargates, the little black holes inside every single one of our cells, in the nucleus of every cell where our genetic information is kept. Feeling almost as if there is a spin inside the nucleus of every cell. Now, we're really working on the embodiment part, especially somatic embodiment. And somatic embodiment means that this cosmic star consciousness energy is really coming through all of our cells, not just our brain, not just our heart, not just any one particular chakra, but actually coming through all of our nucleus of every cell, through all of our genetic information. And so, this is why when we go into meditation to connect with higher energies and especially to integrate them, we connect with all of our cells. We're connecting our consciousness with the light of our awareness, with the cellular structure of our body, coming into a unified state. This might be kind of a difficult thing to immediately snap into if there are still genetic distortions that are inside the system that are incongruent with the higher energies. And this is also obviously why it's important to do this exercise, because all of these distortions will come up, and as the light energies come in, the cells will start to move towards coherence with higher consciousness and these star energies. So we're breathing into our toes, maybe our toenails, feeling a sensation in the bottom of our feet and our ankles. Feel some pins and needle like sensations as the chi gets sent down there, as we're firing up sensations that we sometimes don't really pay attention to. And now breathing into the shins, moving up the leg into the knees, opening up the feet chakra and allow any stagnant energy to move through them. Some ways that we can describe this feeling when we're connecting to our star energy or the feelings of our higher self. My good friend likes to share these words that start with C. So, creativity, connectedness, calm, celebration. Is this joy and this feeling of being free, this inherent kind of subtle level of intelligence. And all of those things are things we consistently feel in our higher dimensional aspects. And of course, we're intending to move those energies into the body, allowing the strength, the power of this light to kind of come in and start breaking up distortions that may be held in the physical body, that are keeping the physical body from experiencing those feelings just as we would be in the higher dimensions. Connecting the light of our conscious awareness with our thighs, our hips, lighting every cell up with this vibration that we're connecting in as our star consciousness. Oh, this process is purging, restructuring any distortions in the light field, in the genetic field, in the physical body that is keeping our body from resonating in the vibration of our star beingness. And of course, usually this means the lower chakras, so we're going to be spending quite a bit of time here today. Really taking advantage of this brilliant light that's coming in for the Lion's Gate. And so just breathe allowing this energy to sweep, to restore. Okay. Oh. So, the biggest work that my partner and I have been doing over the Lion's Gate have been anchoring um, a template for feminine and masculine co creation. I know this is a place that had been very wounded and traumatized on Earth because the splitting of the male and female principle is what was used to traumatize humanity, to harness their energy and enslave them. And so, this is why the subtitle of my book is literally Recovering from Sexual Enslavement or Planetary Sexual Enslavement. Because this is the clearest way that I can articulate this, is the clearest way that we can go right to the point that, no matter who you are, if you lived in a society on Earth, especially in this present time, even if you have not gone through um, sexual harassment in your personal life, you have experienced sexual distortion just from being in the society, receiving the programs, inheriting it from our family and our parents. And so I would say that this untangling that we're doing today is a really strong energy that is keeping embodiment from occurring. It is in the root and sacral regions of the body, which is the region that we're moving into. So I'm bringing in some light tech here to start breaking up any geometries and structures of energy and consciousness in all dimensions and all of time space, in all of our genetics and parallel selves, which are still resonating in reversal codes. We and breathe. Now, if you think about attraction and how this is one of the greatest forces of creation on the planet, both in love and in the fact that attraction literally procreates and makes new life, creates a portal between dimensions to bring in new souls into the physical. This is a very powerful force. So, if we wanted to create massive amounts of trauma and reversal energy, then it would make sense that this is the force that we would um, splinter. And how many of us have parents that stayed together and fought a lot, or just are generally unhappy in their relationship, or that their relationships are not based on soul or purity? Well, these intentions were inherited, these viruses, like basing our attraction on physicality or, finances. And we can see that this is very pervasive in society And so, of course, as we're waking up, we're just becoming ultra conscious of all these super subtle aspects of our consciousness. Because the ultra subtle, almost subconscious nuances of how we navigate through our life, we can see those as the splintered or fractured aspects of ourself. And you can say that they're part of our shadow, um, or just the parts that are disconnected from our higher self or our heart or our soul. And this is really a time when we need all of our energy, all of our aspects to be in alignment, in agreement. So you're not trying to create heaven on earth, but then there's another part that's literally trying to kill you. And of course, this is the root of addictions. And so breathe. Whew. And so basically, the transmission today is about our embodiment of our star beingness or star consciousness. And we're doing it through this process of somatic embodiment, moving through the body. And we're recognizing that the energies which are keeping us from fully embodying are the energies that we're shedding. And that's, old unconscious, old aspects of ourself, things that we inherited from our society and our parents. And we're recognizing that the majority of these blockages exist in the lower chakras, the root, sacral, and solar plexus. And recently I started hearing some people say that, we only have to connect to the heart and up, which is just a ridiculous thing to say. It's like, we will never be able to make physical change in this physical world without fully coming into our physical body. So, anyone that tries to teach you that you can only stay in the heart and up, which is the easy part for us to do, we're star beings. It's really easy for us to, be in the third eye, be in the crown, be in the heart. But I can tell you that beings who say this is all we have to do are probably hiding or running away from certain pain bodies in the lower chakras that everyone have to transmute. This is the way that we're going to move into the golden age of greatness, is by all of humanity transmuting our pain body from the Kali Yuga. Of course, this is the basis of this energy work that we do. It's based in meditation and energy work. And it might be difficult, but it's good because we spent a long time being in our heart, right? So we should be able to hold that heart space for ourselves. So we sweep our love and our awareness through these chakras, and you might have, things that come up, fearful and even terrifying past lives. Mostly ancestral stuff, I would say. Because these viruses spent thousands of years rooting themselves in our society. So we can think about the number of ancestors that we've had that experienced, sexual misery in various gradients, from abstinence and ultra, fluffy spirituality and religion, all the way to, rape and pillaging of villages, all the way to arranged marriage and etc. All of these energies are not based in higher understanding, and they create entanglements. And when these energies get tangled up, they almost create this they squish our spirit or energy body, and they create a certain amount of pain and misery. When we're not able to express our love freely, this is painful to our spirit and our energy body. We're having a sweep today. This works. Breathing into the belly, expanding the belly as you breathe in, as if to crackle, break up the foundations of the cement of past belief systems that may be here. And through those cracks, we're seeing this golden white sunlight emerging from inside, dissolving those stagnations or blocks. So what's coming in right now is wanting to connect and bring awareness to what's unfolding in the collective through these news articles about Epstein and how all this disclosure and information are coming out about pedophilia in the collective. And it's like people in power that are mutilating the innocence of children. And we see how this is reflected, like in our school, the New Earth Self Leadership Academy. We talk about this thing called self leadership. And we always want to bring the empowerment back within of seeing that we are creator beings and we create the reality from our vibration. And this isn't just what we think or understand from up here, but really how we move in the world, how we interact and hold space and allow ourselves to express. And what we're doing right now is we're connecting with our sacral and root chakra, which are developed when we are 0 to 7 to 14 years old. Right? So we think about our sexuality and how our sexuality developed over that time. Did we have healthy role models? The answer is probably no. And there's some of us that are probably really, really, really lucky if you had, a sex conscious and creation conscious parent. But it's very rare, right, in our society. So bring yourself back to those moments of your youth when you first started connecting with sexual energy. And maybe your parent had given you the talk, or maybe not at all, and they were just super shameful about it. And children were super sensitive to energy. So if I know for me, when I got my period, my mom just gave me a pad and shoved me into the bathroom and was like, talk about it. And this is like a very shameful energy that imprints on the child's mind to think that, sexuality is something shameful, that is something that we shouldn't talk about. And in worst case scenarios, this is literally what parents say. My dad also tell me that I'm not allowed to have a boyfriend or have sex until I'm married or I'm 30 years old, right? And so now think about how this is an external or internal authority figure. Our main front expressing consciousness, suppressing these parts of ourself, suppressing the innocence of our inner children. This is how we abuse our own inner children, right? And maybe sexuality was shown to us in a super degraded way through pornography and mass media. And how maybe we still subconsciously carry some of these distorted energies. And of course, that is how we lock our own inner children in the dungeon, right? And I think that connecting, what we're doing here is connecting like innocent and clear and perfect sexuality with our inner children. And this is really important work. Whew. Because that builds the foundation for a healthy young adult, and that builds the foundation for a healthy, you know, uh, woman or man. And of course, this creates a domino effect into the rest of our timeline. So I invite you to imagine that your inner child in various stages of your life are sitting in a circle around you. And we're bringing in this light codes from the sky of pure creation magic, of collaboration and purity and innocence, and how sexuality and sex is that. Of course, there are ways that we can express our sexuality that becomes degraded, that becomes distorted, but that doesn't mean that sex itself is the thing that's evil. So we're making a distinction here and we're dissolving those false codes. Whew. Through all of time, space, and all dimensions, in all parallel realities, and all of our genetics. Now we're allowing that command to move through all of our parallel and previous younger versions of self. Whoo. Yo. Whew. Of course, then now we're allowing this higher light, star consciousness, this understanding of creation, magic, the light of source, and the gender principles to come down and replace the places in our body that the false codes have just cleared out. Ooh. Okay, and now we're going to wrap our body up in this beautiful pink energy and ask for the presence of the Divine Mother to assist us in transforming any stuck emotional energies in sadness and anger, confusion, separation. I'm going to free up all of that stuck emotional energy and transmute them back into pure energy that then gets reintegrated into our energy body. And so that this includes any geometries of abandonment, whew, clear, and clear. Yeah, feel how there's a way more space now for this energy to move down into the body. True self, or star being vibrations might feel more pieces of you, might just feel more present. So much activity. Okay, now let's move into the solar plexus. Okay, so our solar plexus is where we store our previous uh, identities. Of course, this chakra, as the in the development of the body, is developed around age 14 to 21. So this is obviously a moment in our Earth life when we're becoming teenagers. We're getting the sense of who we are. We're like, I am a preppy football player, and that's who I am. Or I am a grungy guitar playing alternative kid. That's who I am. And we all had those personalities. Mine was band geek. And I find that this process of opening up to our star consciousness and this embodiment process is a top down process, which very much is like a walk in process. So I like to think about it as a walk in process because it really helps um, me put this in the perspective that allows my consciousness and body to kind of hold on to, and it accelerates the process when I realize that, okay, there's something new coming in. And now it's not some other soul that's different from the original soul in the body, like, the actual walk in process, but it is very much a walk in because it's a foreign part of ourself that is foreign to our physical body and foreign to the previous versions of ourselves. So if we think about it in this way, then it makes it easier for us to be like, okay, there's something else that's coming in. There's a top-down process. We first feel it in our crown, our third eye, in our heart. Of course, very easy to come down in this way. And then in order to fully embody that higher consciousness, it starts bumping into these other things in our solar plexus and our sacral as we've been clearing out. And so in the solar plexus, it's like you can't both be an unworthy and sad and, let's say, uh, impoverished and imperfect and undivine person and be a super worthy and divine and epic star being at the same time. They're kind of in direct conflict with each other. And so here we're really allowing this higher consciousness to bump into things because it's good to bump into things. When we bump into something, we're like, oh, that's not really me. That's not really who I intended to embody when I decided to come into this physical body. And then we can start to kind of plug them out by the roots. We can see what they are. And, unworthiness is a big one. It's, there's a lot of things happening in the multidimensional energy body because as a human in society, we have all these viruses that were implanted into us, and unworthiness and uh, in divinity are some of those things because an imperfect, undivine, worthless person would be easier to control because that's like the template for the slave, right? Like slaves are those description words. So if you can get somebody to believe those things about themselves, then it's much easier to make them do what you want. And so these viruses were really used like mind control. Um, Humans were brainwashed on a collective level to believe these false things about ourselves, and all of these are stored in the solar plexus, many of them. So we're just unraveling here. And any little knots, tangled up fibers of light that are in congruence with our true self are just unknotting. So here we're also going to clear projections. So projections of what other people think we are. So um, we're going to create this field around in our aura that is like a micro climate of ourself and our own energy. Because oftentimes, if we have parents, like if we were unawake when we went to college and we were going to become a dentist or something, and our parents had this idea that we were going to be a certain thing, and they have a certain image of us in their mind, and then all of a sudden we wake up and we're like, oh, I gotta go do all this crazy stuff and heal the earth. And our parents are the people around us in that life, in that timeline, still have this image of who we are. They can project that template onto us. So we're going to create and strengthen our aura so that those projections do not affect our expression. Whew. And breathe that out. And while we're doing that, while we're pushing the strength into our aura to say no thank you to projections, let's insert a little bit of kindness towards ourselves. This kindness inside our aura gives ourselves the space. Whew. Okay. So now that we have done the groundwork, let's bring our awareness up into the soul star chakra, about 8 to 12 inches above our head. Let's light up that chakra. It's a brilliant white gold sunlight, and also that of a brilliant blue light. We understand that this is a nexus point between our own consciousness and our sun, as well as our twin sun in the Sirian star system, as well as the galactic sun. So we access, it's almost like our personal stargate. Whew. And just breathe the crown open, clearing any objects or vibrations or thought forms which are blocking this connection, being fully functional and clear. And clear. Oh. So I'm really opening up Stargate energy here to allow light and energy from the higher realms to flow down into our bodies, into the places in our bodies that we have just emptied, allowing that energy to flow right through the portals in our feet, grounding into the core of the earth. Oh. And clear. And clear. Now let's bring our awareness to our heart. Just amplify your love energy for a moment, allowing that love to penetrate every single cell in our entire body, communicating directly with our genetic information, oscillating into divine perfection. We envelop our entire aura and field with divine love which emanates from our own heart and soul star. Feeling that spinning toroid in all directions, we're grounding into the earth, connecting with the force of gravity, feeling this attraction between our body and the earth, and perceiving it as a channel of communication. Allowing this field of love to envelop the whole earth, transmitting this love and appreciation for the earth to all consciousness, allowing that love to permeate all of time, space, and all of the cells that are occupying time, space. Just as a tickle or a reminder to all people who may have forgotten. Communicating directly with their elemental somatic body, all people, all beings, radiating this energy of love and appreciation for our planet and for all of life. Understand that the more we radiate and anchor and strengthen this toroidal energy inside our own reality, the more influential, more change we can all afflict, is that a word? Onto the world. And it all starts right here, our own expression. We are anchoring these frequencies, we are anchoring these ways of being, these templates, these codes. And we are remembering of our ability to communicate with the earth through this channel, this force of gravity. This is how we access the living library. Through this love and appreciation that we feel, may we experience love and beauty, abundance and grace. It is all around, was intended for us. And may we share peace with others. And may we stay connected to the living magnificence of this planet always. Aye, aye, aye.